What if the greatest fortunes ever amassed, the most profound innovations that reshaped civilizations, the very leaps of human progress that define our history, were not merely the serendipitous outcome of isolated individual genius? What if, beneath the surface of apparent singular brilliance, there lay a deliberate, almost alchemical force, a power so fundamental yet so often overlooked, that the vast majority of humanity simply never truly discovers its profound capacity? I, Napoleon Hill, spent a lifetime, more than 2 decades in fact, delving into the minds and methodologies of the most successful individuals of my era. My journey was not one of idle observation. It was a rigorous, systematic quest to uncover the universal laws and principles that govern success, to distill the very essence of achievement into a tangible, repeatable blueprint. And in that relentless pursuit, at the very core of every significant triumph I witnessed, I found a singular, profound secret. A principle so potent, so transformative, that its understanding alone could fundamentally alter the trajectory of any earnest endeavor. I called it the harmonious blending of 2 or more minds, united by a definite purpose. This seemingly simple arrangement, this strategic alliance, possessed an extraordinary power. It forged a third mind, an entity far more powerful, more insightful, and more capable of innovation than the sum of its individual components. Consider this deeply. Is it not true that many strive, many toil, many pour their lifeblood into their aspirations, only to find themselves perpetually outmaneuvered, their visions unfulfilled, their potential untapped? Could it be that they are operating with an incomplete understanding of the forces at play in the grand theater of success? They are attempting to scale mountains with only their individual strength, unaware that there exists a method, a principle that multiplies their capabilities exponentially. This is not some abstract philosophical musing. This is a practical, demonstrable law of the universe, as reliable as gravity itself, waiting to be harnessed by those with the courage and discernment to apply it. The very concept of a third mind speaks to a level of synergy that transcends mere cooperation. It suggests that when individual intellects, each possessing unique perspectives, knowledge, and experiences, align themselves with unwavering harmony and a shared, absolute objective, something new is born. A collective intelligence emerges, an amplification of thought, a convergence of creative energy that unlocks solutions, generates ideas, and overcomes obstacles that would remain insurmountable to any single mind, no matter how brilliant. It is a psychological and spiritual battery, constantly recharging and expanding, fueled by the collective faith and focused intent of its members. Think of the energy that builds within a storm. Individual air currents, rising and falling, coalesce into a swirling vortex of immense power. So too can human minds, when properly aligned and harmonized, generate an intellectual and creative tempest capable of clearing any path to their desired outcome. This is not about simply dividing tasks or pooling resources. It is about the creation of new resources, new insights, new energies that did not exist before the minds converged. It is an act of intellectual genesis, a fertile ground where ideas cross-pollinate and grow into forms far grander than their individual origins. Are you truly prepared to cease merely chasing success, to abandon the often frustrating cycle of trial and error born of solitary effort? Are you ready to discard the notion that your journey must be a lonely one, a test of sheer personal endurance against overwhelming odds? Or are you, instead, prepared to embrace a higher order of strategy, to actively, deliberately, and intelligently begin to orchestrate your inevitable arrival at your grandest ambitions? The path to unparalleled achievement lies not in working harder alone, but in working smarter, with an expanded mind, with an amplified vision, through the cultivated power of this profound secret. This is your invitation to step beyond the limitations of the solitary pursuit and into the boundless potential of collective, harmonized genius. The secret I spoke of, the force behind unparalleled achievement, is not a mystical incantation, nor a hidden treasure map. It is a profound, yet often misunderstood principle I termed the mastermind. But to simply define it as a coordination of knowledge and effort between two or more people, united in a spirit of harmony toward a definite purpose, would be to miss its most crucial, its most potent dimension. For this is where the alchemy truly begins. When two minds or more truly align themselves in this prescribed manner, with unwavering faith in a singular, clearly articulated objective, something extraordinary occurs. A new entity is born. I refer to it as the third mind. This is not merely a metaphor. It is a demonstrable psychological and spiritual phenomenon. The interaction, the harmonious vibration of intellect and desire, generates a power, an energy, that far exceeds the sum total of the individual minds involved. It is an intellectual amplification, a synergistic resonance that unlocks new insights, new solutions, and new levels of creativity that would simply not be accessible to any one person in isolation. Consider, if you will, the simple battery. It draws inert chemicals, but through a specific harmonious arrangement, it generates a current, an energy that was not visibly present in its components. In much the same way, the mastermind creates an intellectual and spiritual current. It is an invisible, yet profoundly powerful force field of thought, where ideas cross-pollinate, where challenges are viewed from myriad perspectives, and where solutions emerge with clarity and speed. This is not casual brainstorming. It is concentrated mental energy focused with laser precision. You must ask yourself then, is what I am seeking merely a better networking group? Is it merely a forum to exchange pleasantries or to seek fleeting opportunities? If so, you gravely misunderstand the essence of the mastermind principle. This is not about superficial connections. It is fundamentally different. A true mastermind demands, first and foremost, a definiteness of purpose, a singular burning objective that every member shares and commits to with unwavering conviction. Without this definite aim, the energy dissipates. The third mind cannot coalesce. It would be akin to trying to generate electricity without a clear circuit. Secondly, and perhaps most critically, it demands absolute harmony. Any friction, any ego-driven agenda, any undercurrent of distrust or negativity acts like a disruptive frequency, shattering the very essence of the third mind. The collective consciousness requires a spiritual alignment, a mutual respect, and a genuine desire for the success of all participants, not just oneself. This goes beyond mere tolerance. It necessitates a deep understanding and appreciation for each individual's contribution. When such harmony exists, a spiritual dimension, an almost telepathic understanding, begins to manifest, guiding the group towards their shared goal with an uncanny precision. Think of the cost of isolation, the immense burden many bear by attempting to shoulder their ambitions alone. The solitary entrepreneur, the isolated artist, the leader without counsel, they frequently succumb to doubt, to burnout, to the limitations of their own singular perspective. Their vision, no matter how grand, often remains circumscribed by their personal experience and knowledge. They exhaust themselves fighting battles that a unified third mind could navigate with ease or even preempt altogether. The mastermind principle stands as the antidote to this solitary struggle, offering not just support, but an actual multiplication of mental and spiritual power. It is the bridge from struggling alone to soaring with collective genius. Is it not clear, then, that to ignore this principle is to deny yourself access to an inexhaustible wellspring of wisdom, creativity, and energy that is available to those who understand how to properly assemble it? Having explored the genesis of this third mind, this invisible power born from harmonized intent, one might still question its tangible reality. Is it merely a philosophical construct, or has history itself borne witness to its undeniable transformative force? I assure you, the evidence is not only abundant, but etched into the very fabric of human progress. Consider, if you will, the formidable alliance of Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Harvey Firestone. What did these giants of industry, these titans who individually reshaped modern life, truly have in common beyond their singular genius? They cultivated a mastermind, perhaps without consciously naming it so, but living its principles nonetheless. Their legendary camping trips, often romanticized as mere leisure excursions, were, in truth, profound and highly informal strategy sessions. Here, away from the daily pressures of their sprawling empires, they converged not just as friends, but as minds operating under a collective unspoken purpose, to continually challenge the status quo, to innovate beyond existing limitations, and to collectively solve problems that to any one man might have seemed insurmountable. Ford, with his revolutionary vision for mass production. Edison, with his relentless inventiveness and empirical approach. Firestone, with his mastery of materials and distribution. Each brought not merely their individual intellect, but a distinct, complementary perspective, a specialized expertise. They didn't simply advise each other. Their combined mental energy generated profound solutions, foresaw future challenges with uncanny accuracy, and sparked revolutionary ideas that accelerated their respective ventures exponentially. It was during these intense periods of harmonious interchange, of intellectual communion, that the third mind truly manifested, elevating their collective intellectual capacity to a level unachievable by any one of them alone. Did they always agree? Assuredly not. But their disagreements, their debates, were always framed within the spirit of a common objective, ensuring that any discord served to refine rather than to destroy the collective wisdom. This unwavering dedication to a shared pursuit, this profound willingness to listen, to synthesize, and to mutually build was the very engine of their continued, astonishing success. Then reflect upon Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate, whose colossal empire became a towering testament to the power of organized thought. Carnegie, a man of immense personal drive and strategic foresight, understood profoundly that no single individual, regardless of their inherent brilliance, possesses all the knowledge, all the insight, all the answers required to build and sustain an enterprise of his magnitude. What, then, was his strategy? He systematically surrounded himself with what I referred to as his brain trust. These were not merely employees following orders, they were meticulously selected individuals, each an undisputed master in their specific domain, whose counsel and expertise were not only valued, but actively sought, integrated, and celebrated. Carnegie's true genius lay not solely in his ability to make steel more efficiently, but in his unparalleled capacity to recognize, attract, and harmoniously harness the specialized knowledge of others. He understood his own limitations, a rare humility often conspicuously absent in those striving for singular glory. He didn't seek men to merely agree with his pronouncements. He actively cultivated individuals who could constructively challenge his perspectives, fill his specific knowledge gaps, and collectively expand the strategic horizon of his vast industrial complex. The harmonious spirit cultivated among his chosen few ensured that their diverse opinions served to strengthen, not fragment, his overall vision. Their collective deliberations, their shared commitment to the enduring prosperity of the Carnegie enterprises, became the dynamic third mind, guiding the pivotal strategic decisions that built an industrial colossus. This was not mere delegation. This was intellectual amplification through deliberate cooperative association. It was a conscious, strategic recognition that true leadership involves not just leading people, but leading minds into a powerful, cooperative alliance for a common, highly profitable purpose. Indeed, this profound principle was so absolutely vital, so fundamentally indispensable, that I myself, in my endeavor to codify these universal laws of success, meticulously formed my own personal mastermind. My secret six, as I sometimes called them, were individuals chosen not for their public fame, but for their specific intellectual insights, their diverse experiences, and their unwavering commitment to the monumental task I had set for myself: to organize and articulate the complete philosophy of individual achievement for the benefit of all humanity. It was through their varied perspectives, their constructive critiques, their profound shared belief in the mission, that I was able to refine, validate, and ultimately present the very principles you now consider. Without their collective mental energy, their harmonious blend of wisdom and counsel, the comprehensive analysis that led to my life's work might never have reached its full fruition. My own personal journey stands as irrefutable proof that the mastermind is not merely a practical tool for building financial empires, but an essential catalyst for forging clarity, refining purpose, and cultivating the indomitable will necessary to complete any truly great undertaking. The common thread weaving unmistakably through all these powerful historical examples, from the industrial giants of their era to my own personal quest for universal truths, is strikingly clear and profoundly instructive. It is the unwavering mutual faith among participants, a radical honesty that permits unfiltered feedback and challenging discourse, an astute appreciation for complementary strengths that deftly fill individual weaknesses, and above all, an absolute, unshakable commitment to a collective aim that transcends personal ambition. These masterminds did not merely exist in name. They actively operated. They consciously cultivated an environment where the third mind could not only survive but thrive, transforming individual aspirations into collective, accelerated realities. These are not merely coincidences of history, nor are they random anomalies. These are direct, undeniable manifestations of a universal law, awaiting those with the wisdom and courage to grasp its profound implications and apply its power. Do you not now perceive the undeniable resonance of this truth, the clear, consistent pattern of greatness that emerges time and again when minds truly unite with purpose and harmony? Having journeyed through the undeniable historical evidence, from the strategic retreats of Ford, Edison, and Firestone, to the meticulous assembly of Andrew Carnegie's brain trust, and even my own diligent formation of a secret six, the question now shifts from if the mastermind works to how you, precisely, can architect your own empire using this profound principle. This is not about haphazardly gathering a few acquaintances. It is a sacred strategic undertaking, demanding intentionality, clarity, and an unwavering commitment to the inner qualities that forge true collective power. The first and arguably most crucial pillar upon which any potent mastermind must be built is the crystal-clear aim. Your group must possess a definite major purpose. This is not a vague aspiration, a fleeting wish, or a general desire for improvement. It must be a specific, challenging, and clearly articulated objective, shared with an unshakable faith by every single member. Picture a sculptor with a block of marble. Without a definite vision of the statue, the chisel strikes randomly, creating only dust. So too with the mastermind. Its collective energy, its third mind, requires a precise target. What is the grand achievement you collectively seek? What problem will you definitively solve? What innovation will you bring forth? This purpose must be so compelling, so deeply ingrained in the consciousness of each member, that it becomes the magnetic north guiding every deliberation, every contribution, every effort. Any ambiguity here will inevitably lead to dissipated energy, internal friction, and ultimately the dissolution of the collective force before it has truly begun to build momentum. Without this definite aim, you are merely a social club, not a powerhouse of coordinated intelligence. Following this, the second pillar demands the conscious selection. what I often refer to as the alchemist's choice. You are not merely choosing people you like, though harmony is paramount. You are selecting individuals who possess the specific qualities, the complementary skills, and the unique perspectives essential for the attainment of your shared objective. Think of an orchestra. Each musician is excellent, but it is their diverse instruments and harmonized talents that create the symphony. Your mastermind requires not a chorus of yes men, which can be the most insidious destroyer of original thought, but rather a judicious blend of minds, the visionary, the pragmatist, the critic, the organizer, the specialist. Look for integrity, for genuine expertise in areas where you may lack it, for an infectious enthusiasm for the shared purpose, and crucially, for a giving spirit that prioritizes the group's success over individual ego. The strength of your mastermind will be directly proportional to the wisdom and foresight exercised in this critical selection process. Do not compromise on character or competence. This is not about numbers. It is about the intrinsic quality and complementary nature of the chosen few. The third pillar, the unbreakable vow of harmony, cannot be overstated. This is non-negotiable. The third mind is an extremely delicate construct, a frequency that can be shattered by even a single discordant note. One ego-driven agenda, one personality clash left unaddressed, one member who harbors jealousy or resentment can act as a powerful disruptive force, poisoning the entire collective well. Harmony is the glue, the conductive medium through which the collective energy flows freely and powerfully. How do you cultivate and protect it? Through mutual respect, active listening, open and honest communication, and an unwavering commitment to the shared vision above all individual desires. Every member must genuinely wish for the success of every other member within the context of the definite purpose. A mastermind is a sacred space where personal grievances must be set aside for the greater good of the collective. Its power resides in the unified resonance of its members, and that resonance is impossible without true, unwavering harmony. Next, we arrive at the fourth pillar, the principle of reciprocity, truly the golden rule of collaboration. Each member must commit to giving more than they expect to receive. This is not a transactional exchange, a mere quid pro quo. This is about cultivating an abundant energy field, a spiritual generosity where every individual pours their best ideas, their deepest insights, their most valuable connections, and their unwavering support into the collective pool, without expectation of immediate return. It is this selfless contribution, this willingness to serve the definite purpose and each other, that amplifies the energy of the third mind. When every member operates from a place of genuine contribution, rather than calculation, the collective wealth, be it intellectual, spiritual, or material, begins to multiply exponentially. This generosity of spirit fuels the very essence of the mastermind. The fifth pillar is the cadence of commitment. The third mind, like any powerful engine, requires regular fuel and consistent maintenance. This means regular, focused, and non-negotiable meetings or points of contact. Consistency builds momentum. It strengthens the neural pathways of the collective mind, allowing ideas to ferment, strategies to solidify, and problems to be addressed proactively. Erratic engagement, sporadic communication, or a casual approach to commitment will inevitably weaken the collective bond and dissipate the accumulated energy. The power of the mastermind lies not just in the individuals, but in their consistent interaction and application of combined mental force towards their definite purpose. Discipline and regularity are not hindrances. They are the very foundations of sustained progress. Then there is the sixth pillar, the courage to convene. The mastermind, despite its undeniable power, does not spontaneously assemble itself. It requires someone to take the initiative, to overcome the inherent fears of asking, of committing, of potentially facing judgment or rejection. It demands the boldness to articulate the definite purpose, to identify potential members, and to extend the invitation for this powerful alliance. Many brilliant minds remain isolated, their potential collaborations unrealized, simply due to a lack of this fundamental courage to reach out and initiate the process. The conviction in your definite purpose and in the profound benefits of the mastermind principle must be strong enough to propel you past any initial hesitation. The first step, though often the most daunting, is absolutely essential. Finally, the seventh pillar introduces the master of ceremonies, the essential role of a facilitator. While the mastermind operates without a singular authoritarian leader, its effective functioning often benefits from a designated individual or a rotating responsibility, whose primary role is to ensure focus, to maintain harmony, and to keep the discussions aligned with the definite purpose. This individual is not there to dictate thought or to impose their will, but rather to guide the flow of collective intelligence, to prevent tangents, to encourage equitable participation, and to gently steer the group back to its core objective should it stray. This role safeguards the sanctity of the third mind, ensuring that its energy remains concentrated and productive. These 7 pillars, when meticulously understood and rigorously applied, are not mere suggestions. They are the foundational laws for constructing an alliance that transcends individual limitation. To ignore them is to build on sand. To embrace them is to lay the groundwork for an unstoppable force capable of manifesting any definite purpose. Now that you understand how to build this potent force, what are the subtle, yet deadly forces that can undermine its very existence? You have now grasped the foundational architecture for assembling a potent mastermind, understanding the 7 pillars essential for its construction. But erecting such a powerful edifice is only half the battle. Just as a magnificent structure can be undermined by unseen flaws or external pressures, so too can the vibrant, synergistic third mind of a mastermind group be corroded, weakened, and ultimately destroyed by subtle, often internal forces. These are not merely logistical oversights. These are the invisible chains, the insidious poisons that Hill tirelessly warned against, the internal sabotaging forces that can extinguish the very flame of collective genius. To ignore these perils is to build your most ambitious endeavors upon shifting sand, ensuring their eventual collapse. Let us first confront the venom of ego. This is perhaps the most dangerous and pervasive threat to any mastermind. When personal agendas begin to overshadow the definite major purpose, when individual insecurities demand validation over collective progress, or when a member insists upon their own ideas at the expense of harmonious consensus, the third mind begins to fracture. The ego, left unchecked, seeks dominance, not synergy. It craves personal credit, not shared triumph. It listens to reply, not to understand. A mastermind, by its very nature, demands a profound humility from its participants, a willingness to subordinate individual pride to the greater wisdom generated by the collective. If a single member allows their ego to fester, injecting distrust, competitiveness, or a need for singular control, it acts like a potent toxin, circulating throughout the group, destroying the very spirit of cooperation and mutual respect that is the lifeblood of the collective mind. How many brilliant collaborations have disintegrated, not from a lack of talent or resources, but from the inability of individuals to transcend their personal vanity for a larger, more significant aim? This is a question worth deep reflection. Is your personal recognition more important than the undeniable power of a shared, monumental achievement? Next, consider the fog of indefiniteness. We discuss the critical importance of a definite major purpose in forming a mastermind. When this purpose becomes ambiguous, ill-defined, or is allowed to drift, the group loses its rudder. It ceases to be a concentrated force and devolves into a mere social club, a casual gathering of individuals with no binding objective. Without a clear target, the collective mental energy, which requires precise direction, becomes scattered and ineffective. Imagine a powerful laser beam, capable of cutting through steel, suddenly diffusing its energy across a wide area. its potency vanishes. So too with the mastermind. If the members are not constantly and unequivocally aligned around a singular compelling objective, then the energy generated by their combined minds will simply dissipate, achieving nothing of lasting significance. This lack of clear purpose creates a vacuum that doubt and indecision are quick to fill, paralyzing progress. Then there is the drain of discord. Harmony, as we established, is not merely a pleasant sentiment. It is a fundamental energetic requirement for the mastermind to function. Unresolved conflicts, festering resentments, gossip, or consistent negativity act as powerful drains on the collective mental battery. The third mind cannot thrive in an atmosphere of contention. When members expend emotional energy on internal battles or personal grievances, that energy is diverted from the definite purpose. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a large hole in the bottom. The creative flow, the insightful breakthroughs, the collective wisdom, all are stifled when the channel of communication is clogged with mistrust or overshadowed by petty squabbles. A mastermind demands rigorous self-discipline from its members, an almost spiritual commitment to maintaining a positive, supportive, and solution-oriented environment. Any force that introduces disharmony threatens the very existence of the third mind, rendering it inert. Furthermore, beware of the illusion of contribution. This insidious pitfall arises when one or more members expect others to carry them, or when they offer excuses and justifications for inaction instead of genuine effort and thoughtful contribution. A mastermind is a reciprocal exchange of talent, effort, and commitment. If some members consistently extract more than they contribute, the imbalance creates resentment, diminishes the collective output, and ultimately erodes the trust essential for harmony. The power of the third mind is born from the active, engaged participation of all its components. Passive membership, lukewarm commitment, or a consistent failure to follow through on agreed-upon actions are like dead weight, dragging down the entire enterprise. Each member must come to the table prepared to give their best, to challenge themselves, and to contribute proactively to the shared objective. Finally, and perhaps most subtly destructive, is the lack of faith. This is not merely a lack of belief in oneself, but a deep-seated doubt in the collective vision, or worse, a skepticism regarding the abilities or integrity of fellow members. Faith, in the context of the mastermind, is the unshakable conviction that the definite purpose will be achieved through the combined efforts of the group. It is the spiritual fuel that sustains the third mind through challenges and setbacks. If members harbor doubt about the feasibility of the goal or question the competence or dedication of their peers, this doubt acts like a spiritual acid, corroding the bonds of unity. The collective will, so vital for overcoming adversity, falters. True faith involves not just belief in the outcome, but unwavering belief in the process and in the synergistic power of the assembled minds. Without this bedrock of mutual faith, the third mind cannot withstand the inevitable trials that any ambitious undertaking will present. These invisible chains, ego, indefiniteness, discord, passive contribution, and lack of faith, are the silent assassins of masterminds. They are internal enemies, more dangerous than any external obstacle, precisely because they corrupt the very essence of the collective power from within. To form a mastermind is an act of creation. To sustain it requires constant vigilance, disciplined self-awareness, and an unwavering commitment to the principles of harmony and definite purpose. Now that you are acutely aware of these perils, are you ready to understand how the mastermind, when diligently protected and nurtured, becomes not just a tool, but your very bridge to an unstoppable future? We have meticulously explored the profound origins of the mastermind principle, traced its unmistakable imprint on the lives of history's greatest achievers, understood the very architecture required to build such a powerful alliance, and unveiled the insidious forces that threaten its integrity. Now, the final crucial step remains: to fully grasp how this timeless wisdom transcends mere historical anecdote and becomes your indispensable blueprint for an unstoppable future, particularly in a world that often feels more fragmented and uncertain than ever before. Consider the landscape of our modern existence. Is it not true that despite unprecedented connectivity, many individuals find themselves increasingly isolated, navigating complex challenges in solitude? The speed of change is dizzying, the volume of information overwhelming, and the competitive pressures relentless. In such an environment, the mastermind is no longer merely an advantage for those seeking extraordinary wealth or power. It has become an absolute necessity for accelerated growth, for enduring resilience, and for the sustained achievement of any significant personal or professional ambition. To attempt to chart a course through these turbulent waters relying solely on your own singular perspective is to willfully deny yourself the collective intelligence, the moral support, and the amplified energy that a harmonized group provides. In an age where problems are increasingly multifaceted, demanding diverse insights and collaborative solutions, the mastermind is your most potent counter-strategy against stagnation and burnout. It is the lighthouse in the storm, guided by the combined wisdom of those who share your definite purpose. But let us expand our vision beyond the traditional confines of business and enterprise. The mastermind principle, in its essence, is a universal law governing collective achievement, applicable to every domain of human endeavor. Do you seek profound personal development, desiring to overcome ingrained habits or cultivate new virtues? Assemble a mastermind focused on mutual accountability and growth. Are you pursuing audacious health goals, requiring consistent motivation and shared strategies? Find others who share that definite purpose and let their collective energy propel you forward. Perhaps your ambition lies in creative projects, writing a book, composing music, developing an innovative solution. The creative process, too, benefits immensely from the third mind, where ideas are sparked, refined, and brought to fruition through the vibrant exchange of diverse perspectives. Even in building a more supportive community or fostering a specific social cause, the principles of harmonious cooperation towards a definite purpose will accelerate your impact exponentially. The scope of its application is limited only by your imagination and the definiteness of your purpose. By consciously engaging with this principle, by diligently applying its tenets, you are not merely building a path to your own success. You are, in effect, constructing a legacy. You are positioning yourself to become a powerful catalyst, not just for your own dreams, but for the dreams and aspirations of others. When you master the art of forming and nurturing a mastermind, you become a magnet for talent, for opportunity, and for profound synergistic collaboration. You elevate not just yourself, but everyone around you, creating ripples of positive influence that extend far beyond your immediate sphere. This is the true essence of contributing to progress, of leaving a lasting mark, not just through individual achievement, but through the enlightened coordination of collective human potential. Is there a more profound way to live, to lead, to serve, than to unlock and amplify the inherent greatness within yourself and those who stand with you? So, now I pose the ultimate question to you, the individual who has absorbed these profound truths. Who will be in your mastermind? What impossible dream, what seemingly insurmountable obstacle, what grand and noble aspiration will you collectively make inevitable together? Do not let this wisdom remain merely intellectual knowledge. Let it be the spark that ignites immediate, purposeful action. If this exploration of Napoleon Hill's mastermind secret has resonated deeply within you, if it has ignited a spark of recognition for the latent power you possess, then I urge you to take a moment. Like this video, subscribe to this channel for more insights into the science of success, and most importantly, share this secret with someone you know who is yearning to unlock their path to greatness. Then, in the comments below, declare with absolute conviction, what is the definite purpose you seek to achieve, And who will be the very first mind you invite to join your quest in forming your own formidable mastermind alliance? Let your declaration be the first step in assembling the unstoppable force that will redefine your future. For as I always affirmed, and as history consistently proves, when two minds unite in a spirit of perfect harmony for the attainment of a definite purpose, the possibility of failure is annihilated.